everybody, and welcome to another edition of Pipe Bomb Sports. I am back. I am your host, The Monk. Guys, just to throw it in there, I had 28-24 Patriots. Thought I'd throw it. No, I actually had 27-21 Seahawks. So.
Oh, Monk. It's a bad week for you, huh?
Oh, boy. Wow. I will say one thing. I don't want to let it overshadow what a great game it was. Pete Carroll, you got to go. I don't care that you went to the Super Bowl twice. I don't care what you did, Pete Carroll. I don't care if you were selling popcorn in the stands. You have got to go. I'm done with you. I don't know what to say, guys.
Monk,
There's not much you can say after that play call.
Monk, I caught myself before halftime in that game when they had like 39 seconds left, and I'm saying, look how good this offensive coordinator calls up plays. And
Yeah.
you go back to Green Bay.
Oh.
And I looked to Vinny, actually, right next to me, and I'm like, dude, he just has the magic touch. Look what he does in such a short amount of time. He makes things happen.
Yeah,
And
he
then
does.
we got left with the worst play call in NFL Super Bowl history.
Maybe sports.
Sports history. Maybe sports. Man, was
They're
it
really-
sports history?
Yeah, it could be in sports history, yeah.
Did you want Carroll gone if they score that touchdown and win the game, though?
How angry are you still at the? How much of the horrible play call aspect of it still kind of rings with you, even if they win? You know what I mean?
None.
None.
None. That's
All right,
zero.
yeah.
I'm not even bringing up Pete Carroll. I'm talking about how great Pete Carroll is, how he outsmarted the great Belichick. For Christ's sake.
To me, that's just amazing that's it's
One-
that big of a swing
Yeah.
on
Oh, yeah.
Wait.
Isn't that the beauty of sports?
Yes, that it
To
is.
be honest.
beauty and the horror.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I think where Pete went wrong was after the ridiculous curse catch was like David Tyree.
Yeah.
He called the timeout right there. He wasted one of his timeouts right after the catch. And now you're left with one timeout. Okay.
Yep.
So first down they ran, he got to the one. Lynch. That's fine. But now you're left with one timeout, and now it's second and goal on the one. So if you run now on second down, you have to waste your final timeout. Now you have third down and fourth down. So if you run on third down, then you have no timeouts. You have to hurry to the line of scrimmage for a fourth down and final play. So I think you do have to throw there because if you run on second down again, you might have to call for two passing plays on third and fourth. So I thought what he was saying was we're going to throw on second, we're going to run on third, we're going to call a timeout then, and then we're going to run on fourth. But you can't call a 1 yard slant over the middle in the end zone with a tight window. That's where I got a problem. And everyone was talking about a fade. And look at Roethlisberger's pass to Santonio Holmes. It was in the back of the end zone. No one could touch it. It was almost intercepted by a great jump by Arizona. But you got to make a high percentage throw. Right. Either the ball is out of bounds, you got to give someone a chance to catch it, or it's out of bounds. You can't leave it to almost be an interception. Vin,
Yeah.
were you okay with the play calling at the end?
I thought you should have. You're supposed to run the ball.
Yeah.
You're supposed to run the ball there. You are. You do have beast mode and Marshawn Lynch. I mean, that's supposed to happen. If you do run a play, like you said, you should run a play to the back of the end zone, corner of the end zone. You don't run a slant over the middle of the end zone. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be linebackers, there's going to be safeties. There's not much yards behind. There's only the end zone's only 10 yards.
Isn't there
10
just
yards
too
big?
many contributing factors and too many things that could happen
Yeah.
from a play call like that, a quick slant up the middle?
That could even be tipped in the air and then picked. You know what I'm saying?
This is not Randy Moss throwing two across the middle.
Exactly.
What are you throwing to it?
Lockett.
Mr. Dependable Hands?
He's throwing a Lockett,
Come
yeah.
on. I'm sorry, Ricardo Lockett.
Yeah.
Guys, like, Nelly, you know what the word that's getting thrown around here?
Yeah.
If. I think the if is trinormous, bigger than it could ever be, because there is no if with Marshawn Lynch getting into the end zone. It's an if 1 yard. It's a guy that doesn't get brought down on the first tackle.
Exactly.
If I am the offensive line coach, forget the offensive coordinator. I'm going to my offensive line. I'm saying, this is your life, okay? You push the line. This guy is a thug criminal behind you. He's getting in the end zone, and he's grabbing his crotch. And you're going to win the Super Bowl, and you just threw away a dynasty.
You're right.
A dynasty.
You're right.
Maybe
See, if
Marshawn Lynch ate all the Skittles before the game, he would have got that extra yard. I'm just saying.
But see, if I'm Russell Wilson, Andrew,
Needed that sugar rush.
Andrew, if I'm Russell Wilson, when you hear that play though, that play call that came in, shouldn't you audible out of that?
Vinny, you took the words out of
Tom
my
Brady, Aaron Rodgers, all the greats will audible out of that to a run
It's not
once they
only
hear pass.
Well, hold on though. See, here's another. That's a big if though, because you can definitely say I'm with you on that, Vinny. I think they would, but I think the problem with that is Russell Wilson was, as a third-year guy, he doesn't have quite the same ability to do.
I don't
Let's say
care
he
what
audibles
ability
out
you
and
have,
does-
Ryan.
if he
I don't
audibles
care
out and
what
it goes
ability you
wrong,
have.
Guess what?
I don't care what ability you have. This is
But
for
if
the
it goes
Super Bowl.
wrong,
This
though,
is for
if
the
it goes
game.
wrong-
Hey, here's this. How about this one? Guess who does call an audible at the line of scrimmage?
Bateman.
Andrew Luck. Forget veterans, Nelly.
Yeah.
Andrew,
No, you're
talking
right.
about the third
You're
year.
right.
Guess
Oh, okay.
what? He's a bum. He has no presence because he has the final say in that play.
Exactly.
He's the quarterback. It's his team. I don't care what Pete Carroll said, the offensive line coach,
I don't
the
care
owner,
who said.
popcorn guy, the fans. I
Care.
don't care what Marshawn Lynch said. I wanted the
Okay,
ball.
very
I don't
sharp.
even care. If Marshawn Lynch said, I want the ball, give me the ball, I'd say, shut up. Give Marshawn Lynch
the ball. You're
All
right.
That's what,
No, you're
because
right.
that's the right play.
Play.
I
That's
agree.
the right play call. Russell Wilson, you have to check down. You have to audible. I thought they were doing a draw.
So
When
did
saw
I.
Marshawn Lynch, he was 5 yards back. I said, oh, okay, this is a draw. They're going to try it.
I swear to God, I'm
Nelly.
at my house, sitting right next to Vinny, and he hiked the ball, and the only thing that came out of my mouth was, "Oh my God, he's throwing it!" And then 2 seconds later, it was an
Unbelievable.
interception, and I went nuts.
Yeah, I
went
hear you. I
absolutely
hear you.
nuts. But
I
Ryan,
hear
I
you.
got a question for you.
Yeah.
Was it defensive pass interference? Was
I don't
'cause
think-
there was contact, guys.
Yes, there was, but I think it's clear that
That's-
if you're going for the ball, that
Yeah.
it's okay. And I think
Okay.
it's very obvious that they were both. It's just a fight
Yeah.
for the ball.
There's
I
contact
agree.
on almost every play, though. Every
exactly.
play has
Exa-
contact.
And I
you know?
mean, let's be honest. Are you really
Not
gonna
on that
call?
play.
Are
No.
you really going to
No.
call something?
Not on that
on
play.
the play of the game? You're
No
not.
way.
But here's where I will kind of defend what I was saying before. Like, I love Russell Wilson. I think he's a class act. I'll defend him
He is.
constantly.
He is a class
he,
act.
he he should have audibled out. I wasn't saying he should have.
Oh.
It's more along the lines of they kind of threw him into a bad situation. Now he should have audibled out.
Definitely.
But I'm gonna say it's more. Forget the play call. Forget that. It was a bad pass. If he
Horrible.
hits him a second earlier,
Yeah.
I watched that play 100 times. Slow
That's a
motion,
timing
speed.
play. That's
Yeah.
a timing
He
play
hits
all
him
the
a
way.
second earlier. He gives Lockett a chance to dive forward.
Yep.
And worst case scenario, they're still on the one, and then they run it. It doesn't matter. Russell Wilson really blew that play.
I agree.
By
Yeah.
passing
He
to
did.
it.
But you know what, Nelly? Back to what you were saying about, just the play calling scenario with maybe I hear what you're trying to say as maybe that the panic. They didn't want the panic to set in. They didn't want to get to that pressure. They're already in a pressure situation, granted. But, third down, timeouts burned now. Marshawn Lynch, let's say he ran and he lost a yard. Let's just say hypothetically, which never would have happened. He loses a yard. Now you're rethinking. You say, wow, we have no timeouts. God forbid we run again and he doesn't get it. We're going to be rushing. That's it. Our Super Bowl's done. We can't spike the ball. You're not going to give up a down, right? To
No.
stop the clock. So I can understand maybe the
What are you gonna-
panic, but I just think you run the ball, you call timeout if you don't get it, which I like I said is a big if, and then if you want to try a slant or even
Or a
even
fade,
on, even
something
on
of
the
that
throw
sort.
on that play, like you said, do a fade route where
Yeah.
only it could go out of bounds, or
Exactly.
where only your receiver can get it. It's just
Even a rollout play.
I mean,
if
this
Russell
was
hits the pylon, he hits the
something,
pylon, he
yeah.
throws out about, where was a rollout play? Like vintage rookie quarterback rollout play.
Or-
to the
or a,
right, and you take it out
an
of bounds and
option
you throw it back.
or an
Yeah.
option. You've seen
option.
Russell
Yeah.
Wilson
Risky,
against
but
the
yeah.
Packers, right? He scored that touchdown. I
Well,
think-
that
Right,
two-point conversion play versus the Packers where the guy branched out on that
God,
crazy
well, that
play.
was pure
Absurd.
luck, though. Luke
It had to be
Wilson.
it had to be a play though.
Were you surprised Bill didn't call a timeout? Was anyone surprised Bill to give
I'm not
Brady time to
surprised.
kick a field goal?
I'm not surprised.
Didn't he do it
because-
against the Giants?
Well,
He called a
Vin,
timeout the second one?
Vin,
he
are
called
you,
one.
Are you not
And then
surprised
let him score.
because that's what you wouldn't have done, or you because that's just Belichick and you just know his brilliance?
He just
Is that what it
I
is?
think he looked at it as they still have to get in the end zone.
Okay.
You understand? They still
Okay.
have. Why are you going to waste the timeout and give a team more time to get in the end zone?
I agree.
When they still
I
have to
agree.
get in the end zone. You know what I'm saying? Let them use their own timeouts. if
I
that's the
agree.
case.
I mean, you could literally break
Yeah.
this game last
Oh,
minute.
forget
it. Oh, yeah.
Forget it.
A million different ways. I think the problem with that play, that's the play of the game right there for everything you just said.
Definitely.
But the problem with that is if they score there, even if they run it in, see, they're thinking, like you said, it's guaranteed. Lynch is going to get it in. We're going to win. But if they run it in and score there,
I
you
like-
leave in
I
the
like where you're
Pats
going with this.
with 20 seconds, 18 seconds, 2 timeouts. All they need to do is get a few chunk yards, and they're going to get a field goal at
Yeah.
best case to tie it up. They were basically saying, now it was a horrible route, I should say, and again, bad throw. But they're thinking, we'll pass here, we'll score, okay, cool, obviously great. Worst case scenario, we're in the same situation we're in, but we just wasted more time giving the Pats. no
mean,
time. That was their thinking. Has to be.
But God, just
got
get it in the
Just
end
a
zone
horrible
first,
route,
and then
horrible
worry.
route.
I mean, you have the Legion of Boom. Come on. This is a playoff defense. This is listen. I
You
know
want,
it's
what
Brady.
are you talking about? Legion of Boom and playoff defense. You had 10 minutes left, up 10, and where was the Legion of Boom?
You didn't
right,
know
it's right.
Brady was going to
Third
score
time.
twice. Nelly,
The
you
best
told me
quarterback in the
You told
NFL.
me you didn't know New England was going to go
Went
down
nuts.
the field.
They
Nelly,
were right down the
You
field.
knew it was going to be up to Russell Wilson to go down the field in this game at the end. You knew it, Nelly, in
Yeah.
your heart.
It
And
had to
that's
come
what
down to
happened.
that, yeah.
And they were at the one, and that one play changed everything.
Tom Brady.
Everything went the way you thought,
Unreal.
Nelly.
Listen, I said, what would Bill Belichick do for the 2 weeks prepare? I said red zone would be the key. And Tom Brady
And
got to
that's
the red
exactly
zone
right,
first,
yeah.
and he threw an interception. I go, Jesus Christ. He did not kick a field goal at all. New England. They got in the red zone. They went 4 out of 5, 1 pick, 4 TDs, 4 passing TDs. No one better. The third touchdown pass where it looked off left to the back, threw it over the middle by the field goal post was sensational.
It really was.
Then he hit Elliman on the over the middle, back to the outside, perfect on a dime pass. Tom Brady was amazing.
I mean,
and you know what? You talk about Peyton Manning throwing picks last year against Seattle. Tom Brady just threw 4 TDs against the best defense in the NFL.
Yeah.
In a high stage, down 10.
What do you have, 2
That's
interceptions?
nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 interceptions.
Well, here we go. This is how it works
2.
with life. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you bounce back. That's
Yeah.
why Tom Brady's Tom Brady.
He always bounces back.
That's that. You know what I
Always.
find funny is he didn't, like you said, Nelly. He didn't look like he had that. He was having that prototypical Tom Brady game until that fourth quarter.
Yeah. Mhm.
That was, and then you saw Tom Brady kick into gear and do what he does best.
And I love it the best, Monk, because I talked about this when he played the Ravens, how he was down 14-0, and he was looking at the photos. And once he made it a 7-point game, Seattle
it.
got the ball, Russell Wilson. And what's Tom Brady doing? He's with his offensive coordinator,
Yep.
and he's looking at
Yep.
plays. He goes, okay, Tom, we're going to get the ball back. This is how we're going to take the lead. I mean, he's down 4.
He's been
When it was
doing that for
24-21.
years, though.
Just a machine, but quarterbacks don't do that, and that's why Tom Brady is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Peyton Manning does a Tom Brady. You know, you look at Cam Newton, he got a towel over his head and stuff. Like, you know,
Yeah, no, you're
certain
right.
guys aren't ready for that moment. And
Yes.
that's what makes Tom so special.
Yes.
Just how he prepares.
He's built like
Yeah, I
a
agree.
warrior.
He is. Yeah.
I will admit, there's something about Brady that's like, you just expect.
Got a mystique.
You just expect it. It doesn't matter.
You know,
Down 10,
you
whatever,
know
like-
that kind of reminds you of a little bit. Guy that used to play in New York, best shortstop to ever play for the Yankees.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Kind of a legend,
Jeter. We know who
class
that is.
act, you know, like he is literally. He reminds me of the NFL, Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Ryan. We know what Brady could do. We know how special he is. I'm actually, with what you said before, I'm actually thrown back because I really thought Russell Wilson was a very intelligent quarterback, and he's built and he's got a lot of character. And Nelly's laughing over there because he knows I'm a Wilson guy.
I'm a Wilson guy,
and
too.
I'm
Me
very
too,
upset
man.
with him.
Yeah.
Why?
Unreal.
Why?
Unreal.
Why, Russell? Anything else?
Yeah. But what about the guy Chris Matthews? The
Yeah.
wide receiver from
What was
Seattle.
that
He was
about?
working in
Who's this
Foot Locker
guy?
2 years ago.
Who?
He was working in Foot Locker.
Chris
Yeah.
Matthews
I don't get it.
Foot Locker. Guys, this guy took over the game.
Yeah.
Wait, you
Seriously,
weren't kidding?
what-
He was
what-
I
really.
swear to God.